Billie Eilish, the adolescent icon with a dark and brooding poppy sound. This young lady blew up on the pop music scene between 2015 and 2017, actually started on SoundCloud. Even a number of my audience members actually really like a lot of her stuff. And surprisingly enough, I've gotten a lot of requests from viewers for my opinion, my feedback on this artist. Now, I'd actually thought about doing this a couple months back, and I think I had listened to at least one, if not both, of her releases, and I just didn't really care that much, honestly. I was listening back to it, and I'm like, I could give a pretty brief opinion, but it wouldn't be anything really interesting or a full video's worth of an opinion. That has now recently changed. Now, I won't be using any clips from any songs today because copyright on YouTube is just fabulous, but I will be talking about some specific parts in songs. So the question today is, do I enjoy listening to Billie Eilish? Well, stilted hard transition out of the video we were just looking at. Random change of clothes. This can only mean one thing. Sponsorship! A huge thank you to today's sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. Raid Shadow Legends is a turn-based fantasy RPG where you pit your champions against hordes of baddies. You can enhance your champion's abilities through combat experience and collecting and enhancing artifacts. Like any good RPG, your party is highly customizable, which means that you get to choose what strategy you want going into battle. I gotta say, the graphics and the animations are actually pretty great, but the one thing that I feel like gets overlooked a lot is sound design. This sound design is definitely on point. Anytime you're doing actions throughout the game, it's very satisfying whenever you execute a command. The music for the game is actually quite good too. I already have the music for the main camp stuck in my head here. Let me bring up a sample of it. Can you hear that? That will definitely get stuck in your head for sure. The game is totally free. You can go ahead and download yours in the link in the description. And it's nice because they reward you just for playing the game. You get daily rewards just for logging in every day. You get playtime rewards. The more you play, the more rewards you unlock. And it has a near perfect score on the Google Play Store. Honestly, I think they earned it. There are several million people playing this game right now, and it actually has a very dedicated fan base. When you click on the link in the description, you get 50,000 silver and a free epic champion as part of their new player program. And now is a great time to join with their new 6-month development roadmap. They're going to be unveiling a bunch of new features. They're going to have new factions with faction wars, a desktop version, glyphs, and a bunch of other features as well. So please click on the link in the description, claim your 50,000 silver and your free epic champion, and go have fun playing some Raid Shadow Legends. It really does help out the channel immensely by clicking the links in the description, so thank you guys so much for going ahead and clicking. Back to the video. Alright, so back to Billie. She is definitely talented. She has some good writing, which she actually co-writes with her brother, some catchy hooks. She is definitely emotional. The production on her albums, I would say, is good. It is definitely not my style. She has multiple styles that she blends together, which we'll dive into, and each of these styles is not my style. Currently, she has 2 actual releases. She has her EP, Don't Smile at Me, and her album, Where Do We Go When We Sleep, blah, 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 blah. Sorry, it's When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? It's an obnoxiously long title. It's like Feather Gun in the Garden of the Sun by Richelieu. It's like, okay, yeah, it rhymes and it kind of feels good to say, but I don't want to say that whole freaking thing every time I want to talk about your great song, dude. 1 EP and 1 album is not a lot to go on to really get a well-rounded observation of an artist, especially when she's this young and she has many years ahead of her, let's hope. I definitely like the Don't Smile at Me EP more than her full length, mostly because her Don't Smile at Me EP kind of has moments of brightness, which are kind of nice and refreshing when everything is so dark and heavy from her more trap influenced sound that she incorporates on a number of tracks. And then the full length just felt way more cynical and way darker and brooding than even the first one, and I really didn't like that. It almost kind of like hurt the front of my brain. You know, like people talk about like the pineal gland or like your third eye or anything like that. I don't know enough about that stuff, but where they say it typically is, this was like irritating me. This part of my head did not like that. So let's start with her voice. First of all, she is an excellent singer. She has a softer vocal style that doesn't push power super hard, which I typically prefer. A lot more power, but with the softer side that she uses, she has a lot of attention to detail and finesse. I think a common theme in their songwriting, their production, and their performances is attention to detail. Maybe with the exception of the guitar playing, but that's besides the point. Her voice is kind of like a soft R&B voice blended pretty seamlessly with more of a Lana Del Rey type of style. I know she has talked about she doesn't want to be compared to Lana Del Rey. Tough shit. It's pretty evident that this is a strong influence on your music, so I'm going to talk about it. Her performance has excellent articulation on the voice. Really, really, really good. Again, it's not always my style, but I can appreciate the artistry of it. Her melodies and her articulation are very soulful, very dark. Because this is not my taste, there are moments of her voice that I absolutely love. I'm like, wow, that was powerful. And then there's other moments where I'm just like, I just don't care. It's not a reflection upon her capabilities as an artist or a performer. It's a reflection upon me just not liking it. So as far as the songwriting goes, there are definitely strong Lana Del Rey vibes on some of her tracks, like I Love You or Hostage. Particularly I Love You. I actually really liked that song a lot. And weirdly enough, I'm not sure if this was on purpose or not, but part of me thinks this was on purpose. The chords from that song, the two main chords, are the exact same chords from the Lost Woods theme from The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. And even the structure of the song and the movement harmonically is actually kind of similar. Like, here's the chords real quick. If you take it at the tempo that they're going, which is half time what the tempo is of the original Lost Woods theme, then you just put the melody of the Lost Woods theme over top of it. Like, I don't see those chords turn up a whole lot in places, and maybe it's just because I haven't looked that hard, but I mean, even the voicing is so similar, I'm just like, I don't know. But yeah, that song is extremely touching. I definitely recommend people listen to it. It's a great song. I can definitely hear a lot of Childish Gambino influence in here, especially with the more trap side of things. Now, while Childish Gambino and Billie Eilish both have trap influences, she also cites Tyler Creator as an influence. They do more with it than just stick to the blasé plug-and-play formula of like, okay, we found some patches, this is kind of ear-catching, let's put that on repeat, add some washes, some skips, and it's good. They pay a lot closer attention to detail in all of the timbres, and also messing around with some modulation, some gates, all things that I can appreciate, but honestly, I don't care at all for the trap sound. She has an interesting blend of a number of different styles, which gives her a unique writing voice. Is it a super memorable writing voice? Not to me, at least. Even her catchier stuff isn't super catchy, although there definitely are some good hooks in there. Considering how she's developed from her EP to her full release, I'm interested to see what the next release is going to be like and how she and her brother evolve. Now to the production. Too much bass. I know it's a trap thing to do that. I understand the point of doing it is supposed to put you in like a trance type of state. It's overwhelming. It's painful. Specifically on tracks like Copycat and Bad Boy, you have this bass that's just up front, and then it has like a rumbly effect, which I could see using that rumbly effect to be something cool, but it's actually irritating on my ears. It's like the same sensation you get when you take a Q-tip and stick it too far into your ear. That's what it feels like listening to this bass. Not only that, it is incredibly distracting. Not just the fact that it's so loud, but the fact that it's actually irritating. I can't just appreciate the music. I am being bombarded with too much sound. Trap does that a lot. Trap is very much just like, can we just smack you with bass level? Just bam, bass loudness. This is good music because you feel like you're being rumbled in a way. That's no. You guys took the time to actually do some interesting stuff in the middle and higher frequency ranges with your production. Let me hear it, please. All right, now that I got that out of the way. Their timbre palette is not my typical taste. It's a lot darker than what I prefer. Like, there are even things that made me think of Post Malone, because Post Malone also does kind of a washed out verby thing on some of his on a lot of his tracks, actually, that does feel much darker. She does that on some of her tracks, but with more of a Lana Del Rey type of thing. The production, a lot more than the songwriting, was really good at accomplishing me feeling empty. I can appreciate the artistry in that. I don't like feeling that. I can kind of understand her a little better, I believe, if she and her brother are indeed coming from a place of being genuine as opposed to writing and emulating something that you've never experienced. So the subject matter of her songs. Ho ho ho. When she released her first EP, she was 15 years old. And when she released her full length, she was 17. I think she's going to be turning 18 this year. The darkness and some of the subject matter in a number of these songs, like talking about Xanax abuse, talking about some real suicide stuff, talking about being some guy's plaything, or bellyache, which I couldn't exactly figure out what that was. I didn't look through the lyrics. I was just kind of listening in the background while I was doing other stuff. Bellyache is kind of disturbing, if I could really just say that. It's not that a girl her age shouldn't be writing these things, but it raises a lot of red flags for me when a lot of her subject matter is very dark, disgusting stuff. And I don't mean disgusting in the fact that she's disgusting for talking about it. Disgusting as in she had to live through that, if she did indeed, or her brother indeed, lived through these experiences. Like, a number of them make me sick to my stomach. It makes me very uncomfortable listening to this. Again, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. Now, when we pair this information with her personality, assuming that in her interviews she's being genuine, wow, does that girl have a big attitude in a tiny little 5'2" package. I was expecting someone a little bit more like laughy and smiley and kind of like just like giggly and, oh, I'm just a cute girl type of thing. She is the opposite of that. She is quoted as saying she doesn't smile because she thinks that smiling is weakness. When you pair information like that, the fact that she comes off with this really hard front with the songs and the subject matter that she's talking about, it makes me think, like, what happened to you? I really know next to nothing about her personal history, her upbringing, anything like that. I don't know if what she's talking about is real or not. But if you pair all these really dark, almost like she's falling into despair with the fact that she is so young, that and the fact that she is also blowing up now and becoming really famous and is going to be very impressionable, that worries me a lot. Now, I've never seen the guy on camera, but when she did her Hot Ones interview, her brother was behind the camera and you saw them kind of interacting and you could hear him laughing, just like listening to her talk and stuff. You can tell he's definitely older and like is more mature. Based upon anecdotal evidence that I have from other situations and the little bit of information I was able to gather from their interactions, my guess, and this is just a guess, is that he probably acts a lot as a rock for her, some sort of stability, familiarity, and I have no idea what type of an influence he is on her. I would assume and hope it's a good one. And if that is the case, it would be extremely important for her well-being that he stays there. Because with the things that I've been seeing and hearing, there's just a bubbling of toxicity inside of her that doesn't seem to be showing itself through any actions or words that I can tell. As much as she has a hard front, she's still pretty much just like, I could probably hang out with her and have a good time, I imagine. So why am I talking about stuff like this? Stuff like this has an extraordinary impact on the future of an artist. From everything I can tell, Billie Eilish's writing seems like it comes from a genuine place, and because of that, it's a much more accurate window to the soul of an artist when they're making genuine art. Assuming that that trend continues, how she lives her life is going to determine what types of art she puts out. Given the level of artistry here, and given the fact that people have been taking to her very, very well, I would say as long as she stays on this path and keeps refining her craft even more, I think she definitely has room for improvement. But as long as she keeps refining this stuff even more, she is going to have an awesome career. So do I enjoy listening to Billie Eilish? Not really. If we take just how obnoxious the bass is out of the picture, I would still kind of be like, it's good, but it's just not really my thing. With the exception of the song I Love You, if we're going by Song Suggestion Friday grading standards, I Love You is the only song on both of these releases I would give a plus sign. As a matter of fact, I think I might add it to the Shit I Like playlist. There's no doubt in my mind that she and her brother are very talented at specific things that they do very well. But I honestly do hope the best for her, because, I mean, she, again, if this is a genuine expression of herself, is putting her heart out on the table, and a lot of people are really glomming onto it and able to appreciate it, which I think is a powerful thing, and it can be a very positive thing. Even though you're dumping all of these negative emotions, sometimes people can take these negative emotions and transform themselves into better people by you sharing. And I would draw a big distinction between Billie Eilish's style of talking about negative things and the kind of normal thing to do in pop and trap, which is this self-masturbatory lack of growth and building yourself up with nothing substantial undergirding it. You can hear her inner conflict in a number of these songs, and I think that shows a lot of vulnerability, which I find to be very important, especially in the pop love song, heartfelt type of sphere. And whether she'll say it or not in public, in her art, she's acknowledging, hey, I've got shit to work on. Anyway, those are my thoughts. What are your thoughts on Billie Eilish? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, if you like what I do on this channel, please like this video, please comment on this video, please share this video. It helps me out a lot. Please support me on Subscribestar. That's the only way I can keep making badass videos for you. And you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Become the Knight. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you in the next video. Rock on!